Today is the 4th of July, America's Independence Day. And what better way to celebrate my third 4th of July living in the United States than to make them the world's best on the football field. I mean, it's great timing as well, given their roller coaster of a Copa America campaign. Grab your Twinkies, your Bud Light, and get comfy. We've got a World Cup to win. So here is my strategy to win the USA World Cup. I'm taking over at the Chicago Fire. They have the second best transfer budget in the MLS, but they've also got a couple players on their books that I think I could turn into American national team superstars. I do not plan on touching the Christian Pulisics of the world though during my time here at the Chicago Fire. Players like Pulisic and Gio Reyna are already good to go in terms of a FIFA sense in career mode. They're going to hit their potential. They've got insane potential. I want to use the Chicago Fire as an American breeding ground. I want to use it as a way to get the players that have like their potentials in the low 80s, high 70s, get them to the next level and build up some of America's best young prospects that might not get there on their own. I want to give us as many options as possible. First things first though, we need to get the USA national team job. They've got some faith in us, giving us the job until 2100. And this is what the default USA national team is looking like in EAFC. We do have a lot of work to do if we want to make the USA World Cup champions on their home soil in 2026. More realistically though, I've got my intention set on 2030, 2034 and beyond. I won't be showing you guys this, but basically every player on this Chicago Fire squad that is not American, I'm going to be transfer listing. I want only Americans, and to be fair, I probably only want young Americans as well. Like for example, Chris Mueller might be higher rated than Brian Gutierrez, but he could be a potential future superstar for the national team. So I want to get players like Mueller out of here. And yes, that includes Jarrad Shaqiri, the Chicago's marquee man. I want to get rid of him as well. I'm not going to lie though, I was surprised when I loaded up career mode and saw that Chicago Fire had a $40 million transfer budget. I want to use that to our advantage. And with the US national team currently rocking a 4-3-3 attacking formation, I want to do the same so that we can mirror club and country football. I don't want the lads getting into the US national team setup and then not knowing what they're doing. I want it to be a smooth transition. But we've made our first signing here. It is a man who in real life has the USA and Argentina fighting it out to get him on their national team. It is Benjamin Kramashi. I actually met him a few weeks ago, funnily enough, when I was doing some stuff with Inter Miami. Super nice kid. I want to get him into this setup here at the Chicago Fire and make him a US national team stud. I will say the center back role is somewhere that I'm a little worried about for the long-term future of the US national team. So I want to get in nice and early and to starting to build up our defensive options. Jalen Neal from the LA Galaxy. He has very raw potential that I want to harness. I want to turn him into a superstar. I have been selling players and I'm not going to show you every player departure, but I had to show you guys this one. The stud of Switzerland, he is a hero, but it is Jarrad Shaqiri heading to Torino. We're going to pick up Benjamin Kramashi's midfield partner, hopefully of the future of the national team as well. Rokas Pukstas is coming back from Hajduk Split. £3.3 million for him. But for the sake of their growth, I'm going to transfer list Kellen Acosta. He is a regular in the national team in real life, but he doesn't suit our plans here at the Fire. At the time of recording, Caleb Wiley is in advanced talks with Chelsea to sign on with the Blues, but in this alternate reality, I'm making him wear a different shade of blue, although the home kit is red. Caleb Wiley joining us from Atlanta United. And on the very same day, I'm getting us a striker here. Jesus Ferreira is at a really interesting point of his career. He's been rumored with a move to European football for the past 2 or 3 years, it feels like. Still hasn't pulled the trigger, still at Dallas FC. So I am going to sign the 22-year-old here. From a FIFA sense, he's 75 overall with 80 potential. I want to get that back up into the mid to high 80s like he was a couple years ago. So we signed Jesus Ferreira from FC Dallas for £7.6 million. Not gonna lie though, lads, if my boy Brandon Vazquez hadn't left FC Cincinnati for Monterrey, I would definitely be making this his role. But he decided to go to Monterrey, who aren't in the game, which is very frustrating. We need the Mexican League back in FC. Another massive signing here though. I am very happy with this one. He is currently one of the villains of US football after his performance against Panama, where he got a red card. But I'm still committed to making Timothy Weah a hero of American football. 23 years of age, 74 overall. overall. He's at an even more important crossroads than Ferreira from an FC standpoint. We need to get his potential firing and get him up to superstar status. So we bring Weah across from Juventus, £7.6 million. We are not even close to done though in this opening transfer window. I want to make sure we have all of our foundations laid and put some serious work in here that's going to benefit us long term. Right back, Brian Reynolds, another player coming back to American soil after a European move. He joins us from the Belgian league. The path has been set for Gutierrez to take the starting left midfield role. Chris Muller has been sold. This here is a move that might have a few people scratching their heads. Chris Richards is in a great position. 23 years of age, 77 overall. He has half decent potential playing in the Premier League. But as I said earlier, I'm nervous about the centre back role and the future of it. I want to have somebody who at 23 years of age could be here for the next 10 years. I want Chris Richards to not be some 82, 83 rated defender. I want to get him up to like 86, 87 overall and have him as an absolute rock in the back line. And I think we could get him on that trajectory over the next few years. We signed Chris Richards from Crystal Palace. Also, just quietly, if the US government is watching this, please give me my green card. I want to live here forever. If I can deliver you a World Cup on FIFA, then surely you can deliver me permanent residency. The biggest player departure of them all has gone through here. This is massive money in our back pocket as the 26-year-old Belgian striker Hugo Kuipers is heading to Toulouse for £15 million, $15 million rather. But we're going to have to hold off on using that money right now as the January transfer window has come to a conclusion. We were unable to sell Kellen Acosta in this transfer window, so I'm going to keep him in the starting 11, move Kramashi to an attacking midfield role, but ultimately I want to move Kramashi back to center midfield. And there are some attacking midfielders that I want to sign next year who are currently off on loan, so you guys might be able to piece together who I'm talking of. Most notably, what two family members I'm talking about. But we've built a nice little foundation here at the Fire. A nice mix of players that are ready to go for the national team right now and players who have raw potential that we need to develop. But I do want to make sure Caleb Wiley is starting every single game, so I am going to release Andrew Gutman, who I couldn't get a transfer move for, not release him from the transfer list, release him from his contract. We've got our first match though as US men's national team coach, and we are taking on Qatar. It's kind of a passing of the baton friendly, it feels like. The 2022 World Cup host passing it on to one of the 2026 World Cup hosts. Luckily, we've already qualified for the World Cup in 2026, so we can put all of our attention into developing the squad. But I thought I'd show you guys this first game. How can we go against Qatar? We get a win despite Tyler Adams getting a red card. It is Pulisic and Bolligan getting the goals. The Brit turned American, and we get a strong win against Qatar to start off life as manager. Our goal isn't to win the MLS though with Chicago Fire, it's to win the World Cup with America. But it's a good sign when things are going well on the pitch. We are humming so far in the MLS given Chicago Fire's in real life performances. We get our man at the attacking midfield position though. It is going to be Paxton Aronson, brother of Brendan. I had both of them on the shortlist, but I thought it's probably going to be more beneficial for us to try developing Paxton because Brendan's already at a decent spot. If we could have both of them superstars, that would be awesome. $3.4 million to sign Paxton from Frankfurt. Can't get any offers in though for Kellen Acosta. We need to get him out of the starting squad so that doesn't hinder the other players. So I'm just going to release Kellen Acosta right now and eat the 360k. The two most important things for me though in these early seasons are growth and stats. If I can get players getting their dynamic player potential up like Jesus Ferreira, 22 goals, 79 overall. Timothy Weah, 78 overall, 50. Like, this is exactly what we want. Get the players up, sell them off, let them go fend on their own, and bring in a new young group. Even the youngsters like Kramashi getting up to a 71 overall. Gutierrez +5. This is perfect. We may need to figure something out though. How come Chris Brady wasn't getting played at goalkeeper? But Spencer, who the hell is this guy? All right, I'm going to have to deal with that next year because we need Chris Brady being the #1 goalkeeper for the first few years. Caleb Wiley Wiley going up to a 68. Beautiful, beautiful. Richards up to an 80, which is a great start. Yeah, I just need these guys in my starting 11 to continue growing, and we will be looking really good. We did end up finishing 5th in the Eastern Conference here with Chicago. This is so not realistic. FC Cincinnati coming 13th. This game doesn't understand how good they are. But how do we go in the playoff? Conference semifinals. Wait, where are... Oh, we're there. We lost to the Red Bulls. Really? We lose to New York Red Bulls on penalties. We go out in the first round of the MLS with LAFC taking down Miami in the MLS finals. This is the MLS's wet dream, except with Miami probably winning it. That is the 2024 season done. Season number 1 in the books with the Fire and the USA. We need to keep building ahead of the 2026 World Cup. Coming into season 2, I've been doing some thinking as well, and I think to keep things ticking over, once a player gets around the 83, 84 mark, I'm going to look to move them on. So right now, the early candidates for that are Chris Richards, Jesus Ferreira, and Weah. Ferreira and Weah are more likely to do that with. Richards, I honestly might keep for the entirety because I have such high hopes and expectations for what I need him to be. But yeah, I just want to keep this squad ticking over and get a production line out, get new talents, and have a new starting 11 like every 2 or 3 years. We finally got rid of Spencer though. Brady, your time is now. No more excuses. I'm going to make it a habit though to check the free agents list and see any regens that might have come through and potentially sign them. I'm going to sign 2 of them this year, a left back, Mark Kerr, and a center back, Devin Miller. That is the most American name I have ever heard. I'm going to sign both these guys and look to get them a loan move straight away. I do want to start plucking players though from obscurity, like Santiago Morales, for example. We've signed him for £600,000 from Inter Miami. His potential is only like 74, 75. I want to get him in, get him a loan move or 2, see where he's at, and potentially develop him into a starting 11 player. Like I've said, fellas, the superstars are going to take care of themselves. They're going to get themselves to where they need to be. I want to help the players that have little to no hope. Second signing of the window for a real player, that is Serge Ngoma, joining us from the New York Red Bulls. 56 rated attacking midfielder Cole Moralka is joining us from the Columbus Crew, along with the 54 rated Caden Glover. I just paid his release clause. Definitely overpaid, but we've got like $50 million, so why not? This is a good sign though. Clubs like West Ham and Borussia Dortmund coming in for Caleb Wiley. He's on the right path. We're also going to add a right back to the mix here. Reed Baker Whiting is joining us from the Seattle Sounders. All the guys that I've signed here in the January window, I want to get loan moves for them. We do need to make some signings here though, purely for squad depth. I'm going to sign Benji Kakanovic here from San Jose, £1.7 million. The loan moves have started coming in though. Mark Kerr heading to the champions LAFC. It's going to be curious to see whether he actually gets game time. Anthony Fontana is going to join us as a backup attacking midfield option, and Isaiah Young is going to join us as a backup right midfield, left midfield, and striker option. Damn, I'm trying to get loan moves here for Ngoma. I mean, I got one accepted here, which I'm about to accept. Brighton know that this kid is an absolute stud. Maybe in the future, not right now. The loan moves keep coming in though. Devin Miller heading to Argentina. Santiago Morales heading to Austin FC. But they all broke down for all of the other lads. I'm not happy about that, man. This is what our starting 11 looks like though, with the Chicago Fire as we enter season number 2. A massive year for Ferreira and Weah. I'm hoping we can sell them on next year. But the foundations have been laid, and I'm excited about the direction we're heading with the United States. From a national team front, we're also looking like we're in a decent position. Again though, all eyes are on the 2026 World Cup. It's going to be another year of friendlies, which I'm not going to loop you guys in on. We've definitely dropped the ball a little bit here this second year in terms of stats. Ferreira 16 goals, Weah 12, 82 and 81 respectively at 25 years of age. I don't know if I'm ready to leave with them yet. I don't know if I'm ready to get rid of them. Gutierrez up to a 77 though, which is incredible to see. Reynolds up to a 77. Aronson again. We've got lads that are starting to really find themselves, but still a lot of work to do. Richards is 83 though, which I'm very happy to see. How did the lads out on loan go? The Mark Kerr only up to a 66. Brady goes up +3 to a 71. Miller only up +1. I mean, it looks like it would have been better to keep certain players at the squad because Baker Whiting goes up to a 63. Kakanovic goes up to a 69. I didn't even intend on getting him any growth. Moralka +3. Fontano +2. Morales +4 on loan at Austin Boston. That's the best growth out of any of our loaned out players. And Goma up to a 66. All right, we're getting decent progress, lads. Glover, it's not looking great for him. He really needs a loan move. I'm hoping this could be the year, though, that we win the MLS with the Chicago Fire. FC Cincinnati, a huge turnaround. We finished 4th, but we go out again on penalties in the first round. Last year, we lose to the New York Red Bulls. This year, Orlando City on a penalty shootout. Oh my God, the winner this year, LA Galaxy. But with the 2026 World Cup coming up next year, it's going to be really interesting to see if any of the players we've developed are going to make our squad. And if they make the squad, whether they can make a difference. I've been stewing over it, fellas. 82 years of age, 25 overall. I'm going to throw Ferreira on the transfer list. He's financial, 44.5 market value, craziness. But I think in the 2 years here, we've already got him over his base potential of 80. It'd probably be around the 84, 85 marker. Let's throw him up on the transfer list and look to bring in a new striker to work on. I could give Caden Glover the starting role, but I think that's going to hurt us all around. Only one free agent I want to bring in, though. He's a pretty good one, though. Looks better than everybody we signed from free agency last year. Ben Edwards, right back, 16 years of age, 66 overall already, bringing him in on a 5-year deal. A massive signing here, though. You might have seen his name on the shortlist there when I signed the other fella, but Joe Scally is joining us now. He is listed as a right wing back, but he can also play center back. And to be honest, besides Chris Richards, I'm still quite nervous about the future of the center back position. So I'm hoping, this is a risk, but I'm hoping it pays off. How long is it going to take to convert him to a center back? 47 weeks. All right, let's do it. Let's bite the bullet. Let's do it. So I'm going to throw Jalen Neal up onto the loan list, looking to get Scully and Richards the starting center back spots this season. Getting the loan moves happening. If this doesn't work out for Baker Whiting, I might just blacklist LAFC. But the big move has happened. Weston McKennie is going to get a new American joining him at Juventus. It is Jesus Ferreira, both fellow Texas men, but Jesus Ferreira joining them for $51 million. Let's go sign ourselves a new striker to take that striker role. But until then, Glover, the keys to the striker role are all yours. There we go, fellas. We get ourselves our new starting striker. Damian Downs is joining us from Granada, $6 million. I contemplated signing him early days instead of Ferreira, but I'm glad I went for Ferreira. But now the 6'4" striker gets his opportunity. We got all of the lads loaned out, though, which I am extremely happy about. Even Caden Glover got a move. And as we enter our 3rd season with the Chicago Fire, a World Cup year, this is how the starting 11 now looks. I expect Richards and Weah to be on the World Cup squad. The rest of the lads, though, I'm not so sure. But it is time to select our squad for the 2026 World Cup in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Here it is. I'm going to run through it. Goalkeeper is definitely looking like something we need to put a big priority on if we don't win it here. Chris Richards is going to be the starting center back. Carter Vickers is the man as well to partner him. Serginho Dest. We've got players, like a few of our players in the squad here. Brian Reynolds making his way into the squad. Gio Reyna, one of the highest rated players. Malik Tillman, our offense and midfield looking absolutely superb. Jesus Ferreira, since we sold him to Juventus, goes up to an 85 overall. So he is going to be leading the line at the striker role. Brian Gutierrez forcing his way in there as well. It is going to be a really interesting World Cup. But we have been grouped into an all-European group. The Netherlands, the Czech Republic, and Romania. There are no easy opponents ahead of us. Look at that for a group. Group F has Argentina, France, Norway, poor Iceland, poor Iceland, Portugal, Denmark, Ghana, Sweden, Spain, Germany, Northern Ireland, Morocco, England, Hungary, Qatar, Mexico, and Italy, Croatia, Scotland, and New Zealand. Group stage, game 1, at home here. I mean, technically all of our games are at home, but we've got the Czech Republic. Need to start this World Cup off on a great start, which we do. It is a 3-2 win. Captain America, Christian Pulisic with a brace. And that is huge because we have our biggest game of the group stages coming up right now against the Dutch. Can we make it 2 from 2? No, we do not. That puts us into a really tough position as we head into the 3rd game against Romania. We cannot afford to get grouped here. We need the Netherlands to beat the Czech Republic, and we need to get a point against Romania. Here we go, lads. Against the Romanians, they put up a great fight in the Euros. Can we beat them here for a spot in the knockout rounds? It is a draw. Oh no, please Netherlands. Please Netherlands, get a win against Oh my God. It is a win for the Netherlands. Oh my God, the Dutch have helped us out. We're going to get out of Group E by the skin of our teeth. That might mean a tough round of 16 opponent. It is. Oh my God. We've been drawn up against Argentina, who are going for back-to-back World Cup wins. United States versus Argentina. Oh man. The one time we versed a really world-class side in the Dutch in this tournament, we went out. Can we get past the Argentines on our home soil in the 2026 World Cup? We do not. Argentina has beaten us. And that means all of our attention with the United States men's national team turns to the 2030 World Cup. And ultimately, it is the French who win the World Cup. They took down England 3-1 in the World Cup final. Mission turn Joe Scally into a centre-back has been completed here. 79 rated right wing back, stays at a 79 rated centre-back, but he still would have to be the third highest centre-back in US football right now. So we're going to work on getting him up to scratch for the 2030 World Cup. I was hoping since Jesus Ferreira left that Damian Downs would be the man to take over. He has gone up to a 75 overall, which is nice though. Timothy Weah, it may be time for us to move on from him though next season. How's Tom Barlow getting so many starts off the bench? That is kind of annoying. Pushkas up to a 78, Gutierrez up to a 78, Kramashi. These guys are starting to slow down a little, which I'm not a huge fan of. Brady up to a 73. I'm gonna have to put a lot more energy into the goalkeeper role next year because we saw how mediocre we were there. Wiley up to a 76, which is nice. The lone players getting some growth though, 68 for Kerr. Neal up to a 73. Miller up to a 65. 69 for Baker, 66. Oh, Ben Edwards, no growth. That is disappointing. 63 there for Cole. Morales up to a 66. So we're trotting along half decently here. Glover into the 60s, but yeah, we're going to have to do some serious work with this squad moving forward. A good sign though, we have won the Eastern Conference in the regular season. Did we win the Supporters Shield? No, that goes to Portland. So we finished second in Supporters Shield on points. So that means we get to skip the first round finally. Semi-finals, we are chokers. We are chokers when it comes to knockout round football. Both for club and country, I am yet to win a game in the playoffs. And Atlanta United end up winning the MLS. All of my energies for the next 3.5 years, though, is making sure we are ready to go in 2030. So coming into this sort of post-2026 World Cup era where they're trying to develop new talents ahead of 2030, I'm actually going to switch things up a bit. Moving the formation so that we don't have left wingers and right wingers. I think Weah, and we've also got Pulisic in the national team who are going to be absolute genuine superstars, nailed on superstars for 2030. Also got Gutierrez, who I'm going to get to try moving out of the club, get him some game time somewhere else. So I really want to try getting the midfield sorted out, get another striker in, and just experiment in those areas. But the first signing of the season is going to be in the center midfield role. I'm excited by this guy. Jack McGlynn, never really heard of him too much, but the Philadelphia Union man is joining us for $21 million. 77 rated. The one thing America has going for them, an insane amount of talent at the center midfield role. I want to add Jack McGlynn to an already stacked midfield. The striker we have chosen to try growing alongside Damian Downs is going to be Quinn Sullivan, another former Philadelphia Union player. Definitely a lot of work to do here with Sullivan if we want to turn him into a US men's national team starter, but I'm excited for the prospect. It is time for us to say goodbye though to Brian Gutierrez. We laid the foundations for him, but now it is time for him to go out on his own and prove his worth to get into this 2030 World Cup roster. He heads to West Ham United. Gonna shake things up at the goalkeeper role. I think Brady needs a fresh start. So we're gonna loan out Chris Brady for the year to FC Porto. And in between the sticks, sign a former Chicago Fire in Gabriel Slonina, bring him back to the Windy City. He's 6 months younger than Brady, 3 overall higher. I really want this season for Slonina to be higher than Matt Turner and take the starting goalkeeper position for himself. And we've turned a $45 million profit here as Timothy Weah makes the move to Manchester City. This is either going to be the best thing for him or the worst. I'm hoping that City currently have a shortage at the right wing position and Weah gets the starting 11 role. Because if so, that could just catapult him to superstardom. Once again though, fellas, all the players that we had put up on the loan list have been loaned out. And now this is how our starting 11 is looking. This might be the final year though for Chris Richards. I'm hoping he's 26. I'm hoping we can get him up to like the 85 marker and then sell him on and either bring Neil back into the squad or go find somebody else and young to get into the starting 11. Really hoping for some big growth from the entire squad though. If we could get the entire starting 11 as close to the 80 overall marker as possible, that's a win for me. Because we have no international football until the 2030 World Cup. So for me, the next few years are just about getting everybody towards the 85 marker and investing all of our time into Chicago Fire's growth. Quinn Sullivan, what a way to start life. Our golden boot winner here at the Chicago Fire. But the thing that makes me very excited is that we have so many players bagging themselves goals, bagging themselves assists. Aronson with 9 goals. Downs 10 is kind of upsetting, I'm not going to lie. But push stats, that's an insane season for him. Those lads getting themselves near the 80s, if not into the 80s. Richards up to an 86. I'm going to have to sell him next year. Chris Brady goes up to a 78. Yes, that is exactly what we were after. Chris Brady goes on loan. The change of scenery helps him. Slonina up to an 80, so he still isn't going to get the starting spot back. Kerr up to a 69. Scally up to an 83. We are humming right now. I think what I'm going to do next year, I'm going to get Jalen Neal back from his loan spell at Al Hilal, sell Chris Richards, and work on Scally and Neal as the 2 centre backs. 72, 67. McGlynn up to an 80. Maybe we look to move Kramashi on next year as well. Morales to a 68. So things are coming along quite nicely here, fellas. 76, 78 for our 2 strikers. Glover up to a 63 as well. Once again, though, we have finished top of the Eastern Conference. We win the Supporters' Shield because Sounders, who win the West, are on 58 points. But are we actually going to get ourselves a playoff win? We haven't done that yet. Conference semifinals is where we kick into and we beat the Chicago Fire 4-0. Sorry, we beat the Philadelphia Union 4-0. Meaning, okay, the other Eastern Conference one, FC Cincinnati, my favorite club, the city that I live in, FC Cincinnati, beating Miami 3-1. And we lose to FC Cincinnati in the conference semifinals. If there was anybody I was going to have to lose to, I'm glad it was Cincinnati. And FCC end up winning the MLS Cup. That is beautiful. If that happened in real life, I would be sitting in the Bailey, standing in the Bailey, losing my mind. But at least we got a win in the playoffs. Big sprint coming this year. I actually didn't intend on selling Puchtas, but the release clause was activated, and I thought, all right, let's see how he goes. 23 years of age, 80 overall. Let's send him to Naples and see if he can make the 2030 World Cup squad. But this is definitely our last sprint in the 48 months leading up to the World Cup. I'm putting all of my attention, all of my mindset around winning the World Cup this coming time. If we don't win it in 2030, then I'll have to change my focus and put it towards another 4-year plan towards 2034. But right now I'm acting very short term in our plans in trying to win it in 2030. But the biggest departure has happened here. Chris Richards back in the Premier League. 86 rated. We get $85.5 million to sell him to Arsenal. He's got to be the man. He has to be the man for the 2030 World Cup. Also going to change things up at the right back spot, making a big call here. I'm going to sell Brian Reynolds permanently to Aston Villa. And this starting right back role is going to be Reed Baker-Whiting's for the taking. Same deal at centre back. We're going to have Jalen Neal and Joe Scally playing centre back together. To replace Puchtas though, we are going to sign Obed Vargas. He was playing at Rangers, but the former Seattle Sounders midfielder comes across here to Soldier Field, signing on for $12 million. Every loan move I make this season though, I'm trying to get 2-year loan moves. This is so that it can lead up to the World Cup. So like Brady's going to be on loan at Sporting until the World Cup. Same thing with Ben Edwards. He's going to be on loan at Independiente until the World Cup. I was hoping that was going to be the end of our transfer business, but Caleb Wiley's release clause has also been activated. £58 million to send him to Cologne. Another player like Pustas that we're going to have to see whether they sink or swim. And to replace Wiley at the left back role, I'm going to sign John Tolkien here from Celtic. Now, John Tolkien and I have a checkered past. I would describe John Tolkien as one of those players that when your team is versing him, you absolutely hate him. But if he played for your team, you would love him. He is the biggest shit stirrer. Oh, he is a wind-up merchant. I have definitely yelled profanities at him when I've been in the crowd, and he's just been up to his absolute bullcrap whenever the FC Cincinnati's played the Red Bulls. But I would be lying if I said I wouldn't want him on my team. I would love John Tolkien to play on my team purely for the fact that he is a grub in the purest form. And I'm hoping he can have that impact for us here at the Chicago Fire and the US men's national team. John Tolkien, welcome. So this is the starting 11 at the start of season number 5. Honestly, lads, I'm keeping this squad until the 2030 World Cup. I want to focus on growing these guys, get Scally up to an 85. Hopefully the midfielders can be in the mid 80s. Aronson can be like an 83. The strikers can be somebody decent. But I'm going to simulate until the 2030 World Cup. We've already qualified. Gotta love EA's lack of national teams. But let's go see how the US men's national team is looking. So here we are. 2030 World Cup selection time, and I must say there are a few surprising moves that have happened to this squad. So here is the squad. I'll go through it. Slanina has been great in the past 2 years, up to an 87. No idea who this Patrick Schultz guy is, but he is in there. Wait, is he the Columbus crew keeper? Maybe I'm tweaking. Anyways, Wiley gets up to an 87. Richard stays at an 86, but John Tolkien had an incredible 2 years at Chicago Fire. He finds himself in the squad. Serginho Dest, I'm probably going to play right back. Reynolds up to an 82. Neil ends up getting up to an 82 and is into the squad after the past 2.5 years. Baker Whiting into the squad, but then our midfield, Kramashi, Benjamin Kramashi, 86 rated. Cardoso in there. McGlynn gets there. Pushtas, so our 3 midfield get in there. Paredes, Pulisic. I'm surprised that Ferreira and Weah didn't grow anymore. Damian Downs, though, up to an 84. Brian Gutierrez didn't grow as well, but some huge omissions here. I honestly expected Paxton Aronson to be in there, but he's the same overall as his brother. None of them making it. So much quality in the midfield though. Ricardo Pepe and Quinn Sullivan missing out. Vargas just missing out as well. So many players that you would expect to see in here that just aren't good enough. Roman Celentano. You know what? They're both 78 rated. I'm getting Celentano in there. He's one of my favorite players. I have to do it. But yeah, that is our World Cup 2030 squad. Now let's go see who we've been grouped up with. Group B here in 2030. It's obvious. Spain are our biggest challenge. We need to make sure we get the wins against Iceland and New Zealand, though. Funnily enough, I've actually just bought tickets to go watch the United States versus New Zealand at TQL Stadium in Cincinnati in September. So if any of you guys are going to be there, keep an eye out for me. This is a good-looking football side, though, ladies and gentlemen. This is the starting 11 that we're going to be rolling with in this World Cup. I cannot wait to see how the lads perform. We need to hit the ground running just like we did in the 2026 World Cup. We've got Iceland. How are we going to go? We're going to get the win. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Can't get too far ahead of ourselves, though. I'm almost hoping we have New Zealand as our next game so we can get the win there and secure our spot. Now, match day number 2, we've got the Spanish. 4 points was enough to get us through in 2026 to the knockout rounds, but I want to top the group. This is a huge test as to where we are. We are top of the group. Pulisic with a brace. He is absolutely carrying. That is surely us into the knockout rounds. It is important though for us to get top of the group and get through safely. I'm resting a few players. Cardoso comes in, Reina comes in, Neil comes in, but let's see how we go against the Kiwis. Against the All Whites, we get a 2-0 win. Tillman and Wiley, though, both getting yellow cards. I'm hopeful they're both going to be here for the round of 16. Is this possible? How is that possible? Oh, because they got 3rd place? I did not realize we'd had it set up in this game that 3rd place could get to the round of 16, but we have got Iceland, a team we got past in the group stages. We've drawn them in the round of 16. I don't know if that's still meant to happen or if it can happen, but I'm taking it. What a difference 4 years can make though. 4 years ago, we were shitting our pants as we took on the Argentines. Right now, feeling very confident as we take on the Icelandics. Oh my God, that confidence almost bit us in the we get sent to extra time. Bjarnason gives Iceland the lead, but then Weah and Ferreira turn it on, and we get through to the quarterfinals of the World Cup by the skin of our teeth. Where in the quarterfinals, we are taking on the Norwegians. Norway, of course, with Haaland, Ødegaard, they've got a golden generation of their own. This could be one of the highest ranked games remaining in the tournament. I say that as literally Argentina versus Germany and Italy versus Portugal. We need to do our job here. We need to get the win against the Norwegians and get ourselves through to the semi-finals. Come on, lads. Big game, big game, big game, big game players. Tillman and Pulisic are gonna score the goals. No need for extra time this time. We get past the quarterfinals, the United States into the World Cup semis. Ending up on this side of the draw has definitely worked out nicely for us. We can't underestimate the Danes, but it's better than getting drawn up against Germany or Italy. It is the United States versus Denmark in the 2030 World Cup semifinals. We would have to be the overwhelming favorites coming into this game, but this is the biggest game in US soccer history. How are we going to go against Hoyland and the Danes? They have some quality players on their squad, but we need to do enough to get the United States into the World Cup final. It goes to a penalty shootout. Oh my God, Pulisic could have sent us there in regulation, but it is Timothy Weah. He gets the equalizer, and we win it on penalties. Slonina making the save on Isaacson, and we're going to be versing either Germany or Italy in the 2030 World Cup final. Absolutely massive. The United States of America versus Germany in the 2030 World Cup final. This is going to be one for the ages. We've worked our asses off over the past 7 years to get to this point. The United States, one game away from potentially being the world's best nation. An early corner for us here. Kramashi trying to drill this one in. Drills into the near post. Tim Weah forces a great save out of this Schroeder fella. Defending two men. Christian Pulisic. That is awesome. I was in my head a little bit there because I thought I might have taken one touch too many. I was trying to focus that one up, and that is the dream start to this World Cup final. It has been all America since kickoff, and Christian Pulisic, Captain America, is gonna give the United States the lead. The Germans are a mess right now. Free kick in a dangerous position. Can McGlynn make things worse for them? I haven't scored a free kick goal all year. McGlynn's gonna hit that, and that is why I haven't scored them, because I suck at them. Hit it. Pereira! Oh, what a save! Tolkien, before halftime. Oh, it should have. Oh my God! Get that, get that, get that, get that, get that. Oh my God, this is chaos. Germany are a mess, but so are we to an extent. Uh-oh, the Germans with their first. I think this is the first time they've been in our bloody half. We have dominated this game so far. They lay that one to Musiala. Musiala. No shot. No shot. Saves Slonina. That's why we need a second goal. Trying to get players back. I need you to get under there, Chris Richards. Get it away. Get it away. Oh my God, we are so lucky. Now I'm time wasting from now on. There it is, lads. The Germans gave me a heart attack in that final 15 minutes, but for the rest of it, we absolutely dominated. And the Yanks are in fact coming, as we have won the World Cup with the United States of America and made them the best nation on the world. And who else but Christian Pulisic to be the man holding the World Cup trophy. Happy 4th of July to my fellow Americans. I say fellow like I'm already accepted. Happy 4th of July to my American friends. But lads, if you enjoyed this international rebuild, make sure you click here to subscribe and click here to watch another video.